Does your vitamin D change with the seasons? The level that you have for your vitamin D level, does that change during the seasons? Hi, I'm Bernice Hunt, and I am a brain health specialist. I work with women just like you who are starting to notice a few memory challenges, and I help you to stay sharp so that as you age, you can still travel, have fun with your grandkids, and experience new adventures without missing a beat. As a wellness coach for over 12 years, I've become very familiar with the word sustainable. Because regarding your lifestyle changes, if you don't change to something that's sustainable, something that you're going to be able to do over and over and over through the years, it's really not going to work, is it? And vitamin D, getting your vitamin D in is pretty easy over those summer months when it's nice and warm and sunshiny outside. And everybody gets out there and their vitamin D levels is likely to go up. But what about those other months? Did you catch my last video? I had a video a few days ago about vitamin D. So if you didn't catch it, go ahead and look for it. It's on my YouTube channel, or it's also on my Facebook page, Keep Your Brain Sharp, and you'll hear some tips about vitamin D. But today I want to continue talking about how important vitamin D is to your brain and how some things that you might be doing are affecting your vitamin D level. Okay, so let's start off with why is vitamin D so important? What is the big deal? Well, you know what? Vitamin D is like a super hormone. It does a whole lot for your whole body. It's like that secret super sauce that you put on stuff. It's just a fantastic hormone that does so much for your body. But scientists have found out that it also plays a very important role in your brain's health. And so that's what we're talking about, in your brain's health. So one of the things that it does for your brain, all right, one of the major things it does with your brain is that it helps you with your cognitive functioning. So we're talking about your learning, your memory. We're talking about maintaining your memory. We're talking about even improving your memory. Vitamin D plays a big role in that. It also reduces inflammation. And you know the deal about inflammation, guys. Inflammation is probably foundational in so many diseases. And inflammation in your brain, same thing, wreaks havoc. So you don't want that. So vitamin D also reduces your inflammation. Also is a regulator. It regulates your calcium. It regulates your immune system. It also regulates your sleep. All three of those things are very important for your brain. If you have a deficiency in your calcium levels, that's going to affect you with, they say it's linked to brain fog and to confusion and to forgetfulness, those kind of things. They say that the calcium also helps with your blood flow in your brain. So calcium is very important, and vitamin D helps to regulate that. It also regulates your immune system. And you already know that you have an immune system for your brain. It's its own little private immune system. And so we want it to be regulated as well. And your immune system is what's going to fight that bacteria and those viruses and things. And so you want that. In fact, there was a study done and they were talking about COVID, and they said that they had a connection between low levels of vitamin D and COVID deaths. They found a connection between that because, of course, it's regulating your immune system. It's helping you to fight off diseases and infections. They say also autoimmune diseases and those kind of things as well. So vitamin D is very important for that, and it's important for your brain's immune system as well. Also regulating your sleep. You know, the sleep is that rebooting system that your brain has that clean things out and to reorganize and to toss out waste. It has so much to do when you sleep. And so vitamin D helps regulate that as well. It also protects your nerve cells. And you know you got nerve cells in your brain, right? Yeah, you know you got nerve cells in your brain, and you want them protected so you don't have premature aging going on. You don't have weakness in different messaging areas and those kind of things. And so vitamin D is so very, very important. They said actually there was a study that they did, another study regarding vitamin D, and they said that people that had deficiencies in vitamin D had a 69% greater risk for Alzheimer's, 69% with chronic low levels of vitamin D. There's another study that said that in terms of cognitive decline, it said that you're 4 times more likely to have premature cognitive decline if you have low vitamin D levels. So in terms of your brain and vitamin D, you really need it. So it's not just a sometimey thing that you should be doing in the summer months. You need to sustain those same levels over all the months in the year. And so that's what we want to talk about, because there are some things that do actually affect that. Okay, so they also said, before I get to that, they also said that it is better to maintain your vitamin D levels than to try to, have to restore it because they've gone low. Because what happens is it triggers off other illnesses. And they found out that if you have other diseases and you have low vitamin D, when you start restoring your vitamin D, it's not a 1-for-1 type of thing. You don't just pop back up and don't have the disease anymore. It's kind of an uphill battle. It's a challenge. It takes time, and there may be some damage that it's already been done. So it's much, much better to intentionally keep your vitamin D levels where they should be than to just let them drop off and then try to keep them back. However, if they do drop low, you do want to restore them, because even though they may not be a 1-for-1 cure with the illness flipping back up to the cure, it does slow down the illnesses, and it does help with the symptoms, modifying changes in your symptoms as you restore your vitamin D. So you want to do that whether or not you actually have illnesses, okay? But best scenario is don't let it drop, okay? Don't let it drop. So that's what we're talking about today. So how do you know if you're deficient in vitamin D? The best way to know if you're deficient is to have a blood test, okay? Go to the doctor and let them do a blood test and check to see what your vitamin D levels are. That's the most reliable. There are some symptoms and signs that sometimes accompany that, but they could be associated with other things as well. So it's just because you have, weight loss or hair loss or whatever doesn't mean that you have a vitamin D deficiency necessarily. The best way that you know for sure is to get a blood test done, okay? And then you need to work with your doctor, because everybody's different, and because of other factors that are going on, you can't really have a definite, specific amount that you're supposed to take, because you have a lot of factors play into that. Your age and your weight and your skin, colorization and all of that kind of thing plays into it. Your dosage that you have, all those things are factors. Your health status, all of those are factors that play into it. So you really need to get with your doctor after you get tested to see if you're low or not, and get with your doctor to see how you can supplement with supplements or fortified foods or sunlight, or what is the plan, and get a plan for you. Okay, so like I said, there's some things that affect the levels of vitamin D, some of them that you can control. Okay, so we want to talk about that. About, sunscreen. Okay, so you're not supposed to have sunscreen on all the time or all hours a day. You want to let's give the sun an opportunity to the rays to be absorbed in your skin so it can start producing your vitamin D. So excessive use of sunscreen and you know about that. You also probably know about color pigmentation. The darker you are, the more vitamin D you may need, or the longer time you may need to be exposed, that kind of thing. And I'm sure a lot of you also know about where you live on the globe. The higher the latitude, your rays are not able to reach you certain times of the year. So those are things most of us know, but there are some other things that are more under our control that you may not be aware of. So I'm going to give you three other things that you need to look at, or you should want to look at, to see, to make sure that it's not negatively affecting your vitamin D. One of them is your weight. That might be a hard thing to take, but the fact is that fat tissue gobbles up vitamin D and hoards it, holds on to it so that it's not available for the rest of your body. Like I say, your brain needs it and other parts of your body need it as well. And if your fat tissues are keeping it all to itself, then there's a good chance you're going to be vitamin D deficient, and you're going to have some of the accompanying things that happen when you are vitamin D deficient. Okay, so weight. So with that in mind, hopefully that's another good reason. If you are overweight or obese, that's another good reason for you to try to get some weight management happening so that you don't have as much fat tissue that's holding on to your vitamin D. Another thing is air pollution. So if you are in an area where there's air pollution frequently or on a regular basis or whatever, you need to be aware of the fact that also the pollutants in the air also absorb the UVB rays, and so they're not going to be able, they're not all going to be able to reach you, even if you are outside, okay, if you have air pollution around. So you need to be aware of that if you live by freeways or highways, or if you live by gas stations or anywhere where they have fumes or factories or whatever. Well, where I live, it can be wherever, actually. But anyway, if you live around air polluted areas, you need to be aware of that, because once again, get with your doctor, see where you are, and to see what options you have to where you can combat that, because you know that you're not getting the contact with the UV rays that you should be getting because of the air pollution. Okay, so the weight, the air pollution. Okay, the other thing is the health of your gut, your liver, and your kidneys. Either of those or all of those or whatever affects the availability of vitamin D to your body and to your brain. Okay, so if you have, a lot of people have a lot of gut issues, and they have, their lining of their gut or whatever has preparations or whatever, and you're having issues. If you know that, also know that your vitamin D may not be getting absorbed properly as well. And so you may have to try to combat that, knowing that you're not making it as available as it would be if you didn't have gut issues. And I want to mention about the kidneys, because there's a lot of people that are on blood pressure medications for various reasons. And a lot of the blood pressure medications have a negative effect on your kidneys over time. And many doctors don't even mention it to you unless it gets all the way like to stage 4. Okay. But you may be in stage 2 and stage 3. I mean, part aging has something to do with it, but still you need to know that if you're on medication for blood pressure, there's a good chance that it is affecting your kidneys. You may be at stage 3 or whatever. So your kidney is not functioning at the level, the optimum level, which means it may not be making vitamin D as readily available as it should. In which case, once again, you need to be working with your doctor, checking your vitamin D level year round, checking your level to see where it is, and making those adjustments to your lifestyle that you need to make to try to keep that up. Okay, so those are just 3 things that affect your vitamin D, and those things you can have a certain amount of control over, or if you know about it, then you can better monitor your vitamin D levels, because you don't want to be deficient. It is not good for your brain or the rest of your body. Okay, so if you want to know, there's other things as well. So if you want to know more things that affect your vitamin D, I have a handout in my research library that you're welcome to have. I'm happy to share it with you. It's on my website page, keepyourbrainsharp.com. So you can go there and gain access to my research library. If you don't already have access to it, you can get free access to it and go in there and look for those things. This is video number 184. Vitamin D, what's the big deal? And I hope it has been beneficial for you, because your brain's destiny is in your hands.